Hi, and thank you so much for joining us in the Mom Strong Entrepreneur Network. My name is Kristen Horler, and I love to come here every few weeks to bring you another entrepreneurial mom to hopefully inspire you, regardless of what your goals are. You might be working full-time, looking for a gig to supplement your income or to enable you to focus a little bit more on your family, time freedom, and flexibility. But today I am very excited to bring to you a friend of mine, Alli Becker. Alli, welcome.
Hi, thank you, Kristen, for having me. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. So Alli and I have known each other for years. She was a baby boot camp member of mine many, many moons ago when she lived in Sarasota. She has since moved away and we reconnected recently when she was in town. So I just wanted to share with you a little bit about her entrepreneurial journey and challenges as a mom running a business. And Alli, would you like to just kind of start by introducing yourself, where you live, and a little bit about your business as well?
Sure. So I am a wife and a mother. I live in the Smoky Mountain area of Tennessee, which is awesome. There's a lot of beautiful mountains and hiking, which nobody else in the family ever really wants to take advantage of with me, but I like the idea of it. And every once in a while, I'll get out there myself. And I have a daughter who is 14, a son who is with Jesus, and my husband here as well, who runs a concrete company as well. So we both kind of have that entrepreneurial spirit, I guess, and have been able to juggle the family lifestyle together. And so I have Keola, which is a holistic Christian spirit, soul, and body fitness. Not anything new. The YMCA kind of was created on the same concept of just really building people strong in spirit and body, helping them to step into the purpose that God has given them so that they can just be a healthy part, not just of their bodies, but of the community, and just to be a positive influence in life.
Wonderful. And we will, in the comments from this interview, share the link so people can find you online and learn a little bit more about your business.
Awesome.
How long ago did you start your business?
So it was probably about 2008, right around when we moved here. So we were having a lot of shifts already taking place, and I just really felt stirred, even kind of around before we moved, because I remember when I was feeling it, I started Googling, and that's when I saw, I'm like, man, this kind of exists already. It's the YMCA. And so, but so it really didn't fully develop until I was here. And other than just doing exercise myself, even when I was younger, I used to record like, oh my gosh, it's going to show my age, but I don't care. Like, I'm proud of it. Denise Austin, Kathy Smith.
Leg warmers, right?
Yes, bodies in motion with Galaj Ankleman. She's still on Facebook, and I found her now. I'm like, oh my gosh, she still looks amazing, and he's still doing it, like working out and everything. I hope I have that stamina and longevity myself. But so there's always something that I did, and then I just slowly started developing it, and yeah, it became what it is today. But so it's been a little over 10 years, and then I became a certified as well, which was helpful. So yeah.
Great. What certification did you get?
So I have group fitness and health coach, and then I've done the functional fitness kind of specialist program as well.
That's great. What organization did you go through for your certification?
American Council on Exercise. They're awesome.
My very first certification was ACE personal trainer. Yeah, I highly recommend it. But if you are thinking about becoming a fitness professional, please reach out. We can definitely give you some coaching and advice on where to start, depending on where you're coming from too. So, Alli wasn't new to experiencing fitness, so I think you had a good solid background to jump into that. Tell me, you're not a YMCA, right? You don't have a brick and mortar facility, nor are you expanding brick and mortar facilities around the country. So what does your business model look like?
So a lot of what I do is primarily online, and right now, even most of it is free access through YouTube. I also developed a few years ago a training program, which is also an e-course. I've done all of that live as well, but I just feel like it's limiting. And because the internet is so amazing and reaches so many more people, that just seemed to be the direction that it took. And it's also helpful because then I can do it on my own time again, which I know is a big part of this. With moms, we don't always have this specific set time, or something crazy can happen in your schedule. And so it enables me to be able to say, okay, here's my goal to record this video today, and then get this amount of time in order to get it edited, and hopefully have it on YouTube by this amount of time. And, but it's flexible, which is really helpful.
That's good. And as a business owner myself, I have to ask you, like, how do you stay accountable to these self-imposed goals? There isn't someone else that is sitting waiting for that to be published at 3 o'clock on, Friday afternoon. So how do you help reinforce that accountability? Are you incredibly self-disciplined? Because I don't view myself as someone who's incredibly self-disciplined.
I am relatively motivated to just, that's, why I used to work out by myself. Baby boot camp was actually one of the first things I ever did as a group activity. And it was just because I was pregnant and I had my daughter, and it was like, that was really more for the social aspect for me. I needed to get out with other people who enjoyed doing fitness, and just needed some, non-baby talk time at the time. But, so I have that motivation, but, also it's just, I don't know. I want to get it out there, and yeah, I'd say that there is that. I guess there is that discipline as part of it, and then, like I said, I love what I do, and I feel like it has value. It holds value for people, and so I'm willing to take that time. And like I said, I enjoy it. Some of it's challenging. I'm going through some of the video stuff. I'm getting new software now, starting an e-course, which is that's kind of a new adventure, an e-course with a Bible study, 21-day challenge, hopefully launching in the next couple of weeks. So all of that has learning curves and new challenges. So it keeps my mind going as well. But ultimately, I guess it breaks down to the fact that I just really I love what I do.
Wonderful. I am so impressed by moms just like you who have followed their passion and turned it into a business. So was there an aha moment for you where you were like, hey, this isn't just a hobby?
Yes. So, well, actually, I would say I knew it wasn't a hobby when I started feeling stirred to the call to do it, because it had been a hobby, like I said, since I was a kid, watching all of those videos and just doing them myself. So it made sense when I felt stirred to go in this direction. It was like, okay, this makes sense. This has been something I've enjoyed, and it's been a passion. But I would say that what was the basic part of your question again? I'm sorry.
Really, what was the
the aha
moment for you?
Yes. So I would say it made sense that I was going in that direction, but the hardest aspect of it was kind of the fluidity of it. I was teaching live classes at the time. This was before internet was as big as it was. And so there'd be people coming in and out. And I think part of that innate people pleasing that I had, I grew up Minnesota, nice culture, and, you just want to please people. And so I think that was the hardest, was seeing people come out and not taking it personally, recognizing that people are just very fluid, their lifestyles are busy, and to really treasure the people who came, and be able to be grateful and impart to them everything that I'm able to do in the time that I have with them, and then not take it personally or feel bad once that season with them left.
Yeah. That's wonderful. I think that's such a great thing to recognize, especially for us as fitness professionals, to not necessarily take that personally. It's hard not to when you pour your heart and pour your soul into your clients, your members, the people that you're working with. So that's really a great perspective. So in your business so far, you're coming up on 10 years now. What has been your biggest challenge?
I would say persevering through that process, because again, sometimes that would be defeating. What I do, we live in a politically correct society as well. So what I do involves faith, and sometimes, that can be a touchy subject as well. And so just being able to persevere in the face of opposition, and with some of those struggles, coming to that aha moment and recognizing that it's worth it, even for the one, all
Right.
of that was, yeah.
Right. Yeah. You're, what is it? The Simonson Excess says, like, everyone is not your audience. Everyone is not your client. And if you're trying to reach out to everyone, if I said, who's your ideal client? It's like, and you said everyone, it's
you're going to be disappointed.
exactly. And I think it's so great to see that you have such clarity in who you are and what the message is that you're putting out there. And you fully recognize that you're not for everyone, right? You're not everyone's
Right.
and that's okay. You don't need to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that is such a strong message for our entrepreneurial moms, is persevering through that opposition, right?
Yeah.
And learning to really stick to, why it is that you've started this and why you're doing what you're doing, right? The impact that you have on one life by doing what you're doing.
Yes.
Much more than that.
Yes. I'm sure it's always more of a ripple effect, right? Like we affect so many more people than we realize. And so hold on and stay in your lane.
Yes. And that's one thing also that I have seen speaking to so many other entrepreneurial moms, is that, it's easy to think that what I have to share is not unique. It's not special. And when you really hone in on who you are, what's important to you, what your values are, and you just, with the amazing, opportunities we have with technology and social media, just get out of your comfort zone, get out of your own way and start to share who you naturally, innately are. People will be attracted to that, just like people will not be attracted to that,
Right. Yeah. That's so good. Mm-hmm.
A big part of the process. Yeah.
Yes.
So, Alli, what advice would you give to other mom strong entrepreneurs?
Yeah, that's a really hard question, because like we just said, everybody's different. Our passion's different. What our purpose looks like, even if it's a similar purpose to someone else, like what it looks like through us individually is so different. But one thing that I have recognized, I think, is that mom guilt, since we are all moms, that's the commonality of your page here. And, that's your heart to help empower and strengthen that specific group. I feel like we all have that potential for mom guilt. That seems to be a common thread that all of us have faced at some point. And so I guess my advice would be to just know, again, like we talked about, you're affecting more than you think. There's a ripple effect through your children. Even if all you can do that day is, like, if you've got littles and you're changing diapers, that is an act of love that matters in that day. And so you're doing better than you think. And I would also say to give yourself permission to take time for your business, but at the same time, be willing to embrace the interruptions. If someone, one of the kids comes and they just want a hug, be willing to take the time to give them that hug, because you will never regret those moments. I've lost one of my children, like I said. And so I just know how quick time flies and how precious those moments are. So absolutely stop and take that time for the hug or the high five, or just to tell them you love them. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's amazing, especially for you having a teenager. I have 2 teenagers, and
Yes.
how much they reflect off your behavior. So we've been always very, very strict with the kids. There's no phones at the table. We lead by example, but I'm not so good away from the table.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah, I'm listening to you. Yes. And they call me, my daughter will call me out on that. Mom, you're not
That's
listening.
awesome.
No, I'm listening. I hear you. But the reality is I'm not being fully present with her.
Mm-hmm.
While I can rarely get a hug out of her now at 18
Mm-hmm.
years old, I still take them every single
Yes.
today. Yes.
I feel like that's the switch. Like maybe she doesn't love it at this moment, but 20 years down the line, you're going to be grateful for taking that, but she's going to remember and be grateful that you did that too.
Please tell me it's not going to take 20 years.
I can't promise it's going to be less, but I hope it's less. I'm with you. I'm right there with you in that same spot right now.
Yeah, we're in the thick of it. We've got about 6 months until she goes away to college. One foot out the door, but thanks for paying for my cell phone and my car insurance and my food. It's like she kind of is yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah.
So we will survive.
Yes.
So going kind of the other direction from advice to, I don't know if tragedy is the word, but if you woke up tomorrow and you had lost everything, like what would you do? I mean, would you start this up again, what you're doing? Would you shift directions and do something different? Like, what are your thoughts about, not that we want to stay in a place mentally that like, oh, I
Right.
lost everything, what would I do? But where does your head go if you just take a moment to think about that?
Right. Yeah. No, I mean, and realistically, like something, even little hiccups are going to happen. So, um, I'd say press in and press on. And I feel like I have had an element of that just in losing my son. That was such a hard battle for us as a family, but I watched God draw us together. And it really, I did have to shelve Keola for that because it was like family crisis and you are boom right there. But my identity and value is not really grounded in this business. It again is grounded in what I share through it, which is that God loves you and he has a purpose for you. And my value is in the cross of Christ, the fact that God was willing to die for me. So that sustained, and that was still the same. And then the ministry and purpose doesn't become sharing that with others through exercise. It was sharing it with someone at the hospital and being willing to receive it from people at the hospital and just coming in and out of that difficult trial. And so, yeah, it's really, like I said, I think if you're fixed on the fact that this is it, this is what I have to do, this is where my value is, and that's it can be really devastating. But if you recognize that your purpose really, it it can still follow through into so many areas of your life that then it doesn't really stop even in the middle of those difficult things.
Yeah. So we hadn't really planned on talking about this, but I am curious to know if you're comfortable talking about it. After losing your son, was it hard to re-engage with your business, or was it something that helped to pull you out or help you move forward?
Yeah.
What was that experience like for you? Like, I can't believe you re-engaged in the business that you had before losing him. So I'd love, if you don't feel comfortable sharing
Yeah.
a little bit
Yeah.
more
Like I
about
said,
that.
I was on, yeah, because I was on Instagram Live today. Share. I don't always share about this, but I was already blubbering today. Um, so for me, I was just so shocked. Like I wasn't expecting that. But I don't know anything other than pressing into God and trusting him. And so there was, I'm grateful that it was online because there was like a very large time frame afterwards where I felt like wanting to isolate, that it was really hard to engage externally with other people. But as I kept praying, that was one of the things that God had me do. That's when I started a live mommy meltdown on Facebook Live. This was a couple of years ago. And so he like used it to help me even wake up in the morning and have that to focus on and move forward. So I actually can see that how he, like I said, went through and used it to keep me putting one foot in front of the other. And I'm grateful that it was again online instead of, because I think it would have been really harder for me to engage in public. And even when I started that, I felt like he was calling me to it. And I was like, oh man, like at first I got onto Facebook because I had been off before all of this happened and through the whole process. And so even when I got back on, I started like just going through and deleting all these people because I thought, well, I'm getting back on for business. And so I started deleting all these people who maybe didn't know because I just wasn't ready to go there and deal with it and talk about it. And so I started doing that. And then I realized after delete that this could take me forever. So I'm like, okay, forget it. Whoever's gone is gone. And God just used whatever's left. And yeah, so that it was actually very helpful. Mm-hmm.
Good. Oh, good. I'm really glad to hear that. And I know that everyone who is involved with your business is grateful for it too. So I understand how it can be for you, but also for so many others too. So thank you for pressing in and pressing on when the time was right for you.
Yeah.
So we're gonna shift directions again, a little bit more fun.
Yay. Okay. Whew.
If you were stranded on a deserted island, what 3 things would you want in your backpack?
This is so funny because like you asked that question in the first, in the little thing that I filled out. And
Yeah.
I didn't even put 3. Like, I'm serious when I say, can my husband fit in my backpack? That's like the only thing that comes to mind that I would want to take, because not just for the, physical comfort and kind personality that I actually, love and enjoy, but he's just this amazing. I told you he has a construction business. He's just a person who can build anything and do anything. He's like awesome survivor man. I know he would be. So really, I feel like he would be the best possible thing that I could take with me.
I guess you would have your own home built within a few months.
Probably. And I'd have food. He hunts. He just got back from hunting. He fishes. Yeah. I'm like, he could sustain all that. And then, I could make pretty flower wreaths and stuff. No, I'm more useful than that,
I
but
like the way you think. All right, next question, which is so important for entrepreneurial moms. How many hours of sleep did you get last night?
Yeah, so I have the teenager, so a lot of times I actually go to bed before her. So I think I got probably about 8 hours. I usually get about right around 8, sometimes a little less, sometimes a little more, but I am, thank God, past that. Few hours here, few hours there. Yeah.
God, goodness, the older that I get, the more I realize like why we have children when we're younger. Like,
Yes.
my sleep now, I mean, just like you, it's like I am in bed before the kids. I'm in bed before my husband. I'm also up before them too. But
Mhm.
I don't know that entrepreneurs in general recognize how important sleep is. Like for
Yeah.
me, with a background in education and fitness and nutrition, it's like what is easily forgotten? It's sleep, and it's also stress too.
Mhm.
But I cannot emphasize enough how important sleep is. And as you were saying, when you have a little one, it's like you sleep when you can, right?
Yeah.
You get bits and pieces, it's broken sleep, but please hold on to the fact, trust Alli and I, that it doesn't last forever, right?
Yes.
Just feel like it when you're in the moment.
Yes. And I feel like there is a grace for that. Like, it
Yeah.
seems like you do kind of truck through it, and even physically, like you said, you're younger, but I can't agree with you more as far as what is important when you actually have the ability to do that, where circumstances don't prohibit it. Especially now, like I feel like that's a huge restorative stuff is huge right now through a lot of the fitness circles, and sleep is one of our biggest ways of that restorative process, even through all the harder workouts we're doing, through everything, the stress that you were talking about that is placed on our bodies just through busier lifestyles. Sleep's one of the best ways to recoup from all of those things.
Yeah, absolutely. And even just looking at ways to reduce our stress.
Mhm.
I have never been a fan of yoga, but about a year and a half ago, when I was going through a lot, a friend dragged me to hot yoga. And hot yoga for me felt like I just ran 3 miles. And I was like, oh, that was like really hot, really intense. And all I could do was focus on breathing and not falling on my face. And so now, even to this day, just trying to be consistent about going once a week. I still don't love it. I'll tell you, I don't love it, but it is a stress reducer for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just the slowing down. And like you said, it's like movement. I mean, because that's part of what Keola started as, was like a Christian based element, for a similar type of activity. And yeah, it's just to have that slower stuff. And it's harder than it looks. Like, people will watch you do those kind of yoga Pilates movements and think, oh, that's not exercise. And then they get out and try to do it and realize, oh, wait a minute, I might die here while I'm trying to do this. But it still does, like you said, it like stretches as well. And so you get all of the benefits of that and the physiological benefits with just being able to stop and breathe instead of, mindlessly, again, stressing out and doing that more shallow breathing. So yeah.
All right. Last question that I have for you, and then we'll
Okay.
wrap it up. What is your favorite food right now?
Oh boy. Right now, I would say, well, I like cooking, finding new stuff with my Instant Pot. So anything in that, just because it's quick and easy.
But I will say I went to Costco the other day and got like these little, I'm not recommending this fitness wise, but I'm also not saying no because it's still a good treat. I'm just, throwing it out there. These little teensy like chocolate lava cake things made in France that you can throw in your microwave. And we had them last night and they were so delicious. And they're teensy, so they are, a nice single treat, but they're still kind of a decent chunk of calories just because it's a chocolate lava cake. But
I just love that you like went straight to dessert.
I have to.
I love it. That's great. That's perfect. So good. So if our entrepreneurial moms are looking to get in touch with you, where do they find you?
Awesome. So keolafit.com, KEOLAFIT is the website, which has, just different information and links to everything else. But there are those workouts on YouTube, which is youtube.com/KeolaFit, and Instagram and Facebook, which is also /KeolaFit.
Good. And we'll go ahead and drop those links below in the comments. And if you guys have any questions for Alli, please let us know in the comments below. Thank you all so much for joining us today. Alli, thank you for sharing your passion and your business and tips as an entrepreneurial mom. Hope you guys all have a fabulous Mom Strong day. See you soon.